Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and if you don't celebrate it, I hope you had a great weekend. Today I want to share with you my Nintendo Switch collection. I don't own a lot of games, but the ones that I do I love, and usually they're kind of ones that people don't really play or haven't really heard of. So I hope you enjoy watching this, and I hope that you find something new that you didn't know. I have a few games where I don't have the cases with me for, so let's just go through those first. The first one would be Diablo 3, the Eternal Collection. This includes the expansions Ultimate Evil Edition and Rise of the Necromancer. I don't know if you guys aren't familiar with Diablo. It is a hack and slash RPG game where you play as one of 7 classes, like a wizard or demon hunter or monk, and etc. I don't know all the classes actually, but it is similar to the previous 2 games if you've played them before. So you go on this whole journey to defeat the ultimate boss, Diablo. I actually played some of the first game. I didn't beat it or play it through, but I really did enjoy it, and so when this came out for the Switch, I wanted to give it a try again and play it. I'm gonna be quite honest, I didn't actually pay attention to the storyline as I played. There just happened to be so much dialogue, and I really just wanted to play through the game. So I didn't really pay attention, but I can tell you it doesn't necessarily affect your gameplay. Like sometimes if you don't pay attention to a storyline in a game, you don't know where to go. That wasn't the case for this. It was pretty straightforward, so I guess I just feel a little guilty about not knowing what the game is about rather than just having played it. But yeah, so that's my experience with the game. And if you are a fan of the series or always want to play a game from the series, I do think that this game is worth picking up because it's very, doing your hacking and slashing and looting as you would in the original game. So I do recommend you guys pick this up. The next game I have is Sushi Striker, the Way of the Sushido. This is like an action puzzler game where you fight like an empire that banned sushi. So yes, there's a ban on sushi, and you are fighting to kind of reverse this ban. And along the way, you get help from sprites that help you in your battles as special power ups. And the battle system is set up with like a conveyor belt of sushi, and you have to make a chain of similar sushi with the same colored plates to throw at your enemy, and it is so fun, and I love getting super long chains of sushi as fast as I can. It's such a great like puzzle game, and I do highly recommend this game if you're looking for something fun and just easy to play. It's super addicting, and you also have a multiplayer mode, which I can only assume would be super fun to play with someone. I've personally never tried it. I tend to be kind of a single player gamer, so but I did actually pick this one up because it was multiplayer and I wanted something fun to play with someone when that time came. And honestly, playing it alone is also super fun, so I do recommend this. The next game I have is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and this, you guys, is such an amazing action adventure game. It's so huge. It's like an open world and is stunning and so fun to just explore. I honestly haven't played a Zelda game since the first and second one, but I was like blown away by this. I love this game, and it was one of the first games I actually beat in a long time. And like prior to that, I usually didn't beat a lot of games, though I've gotten so much better at that and playing a game through to the end. But I thought like the game mechanics was really cool, and I had a lot of fun running around foraging and killing things. But yeah, I just thought this Zelda game was so cool, and I do really recommend that you guys play this if you haven't already. I know it came out on the Wii U, so if you played it back then, that's great. I just think it was such a fun game, and I could not put it down. I played it for like a week straight. Next game that I have is the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and this is the fifth and latest game in the series. It has over like 80 characters that you can choose from, and it includes everyone from all the previous games, which is amazing. I think that was like, I remember when it was first released, I think that was like the biggest thing. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna have so many characters in this game, and oh, I was just so excited for it. And to be honest, I don't really play Super Smash Brothers because I'm not very good at fighting games, but I always really wanted to like be really good at it and like play with people and not like die on my own accord. Like I just fall off and die. So I'm really not much of a challenge when I'm playing against someone. Or if I'm your teammate, I'm probably a horrible teammate. But I got this because I really like the games and I do want to get better at it. I will say that I haven't necessarily gotten better at it, but I'm trying. But yeah, I think this game is super cool that it has so many players that you can choose from. Um, and it came up with like a new sprite system. I don't know how I really feel about that. I don't know. I guess if you guys have any thoughts on it, I don't think that it's really needed, but yeah, that was like a new feature in the game. So if you're a fan of the Smash Brothers series, I would definitely pick it up. I also haven't played all of them, and I know that the one for the GameCube is everyone's favorite and like the most balanced, and I can't really attest to the difference between that and this one. So don't hold me accountable for that in that sense of recommending this game, but I think it's a really cool game. The last game I have without the case with me is Stardew Valley, and if you guys don't know what Stardew Valley is, it's a sim type RPG game. It's kind of like Harvest Moon. Actually, it's like a Harvest Moon clone, where you grow crops and raise animals, and basically try to build your house up and like your land, and also try and get along nicely with your neighbors or even marry one. Or you could stay single all alone with your pet dog like me. I have never played one of these types of games for so long. I mean like for a long period of time, but I got so hooked on Stardew Valley. I put so many hours into it, and like I said, I don't normally like, I've played Harvest Moon games, I've played Rune Factory, and I never get super far because it's like, it's not that I get bored, but I don't know, I just don't invest the time in it, and it just like takes so long to like build up everything. But Stardew Valley, I have built up a lot of things. I still haven't like beat it, but I'm getting there. You can customize your characters, and it has multiplayer mode as well, which I was super excited about, but I haven't played it with anyone because I just don't play a lot of games with people. But honestly, to tell you the the special thing about Stardew Valley to me, it necessarily isn't the gameplay itself, but it's more about the story behind the making of Stardew Valley, which like makes me a big fan of it. If you guys don't know, this game was made by one person, Eric Barone. I'm not sure if I'm saying his last name right, of Concerned Ape, and it took over 4 years to make by himself. He wanted to make a Harvest Moon type game, which, like I said, that's why it's very similar to it. But obviously, he wanted to improve on some of the things that the Harvest Moon series was lacking. Like in the making of this game, it was also a practice for him to hone in his programming and game development skills. And so the fact that he made this like huge hit game all by himself during his free time, it's so inspiring and amazing. And I just like, it makes me so happy to know that so much love and care went into making this game, and that everyone loves it, and that it sold amazingly well. And it made me appreciate the game even more and really want to support the game. So I really would love for you guys to play this game because it's so cool and fun, and I think all of his hard work has paid off. And oh, also, I think there was a video I watched about this, like the making of the Stardew Valley, and if I find that video, I'll link it in the description because it was really cool. I didn't quite know the story behind it before I played the game. The next game here, and I have the game with me, is the Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams. So this is a platformer game where you can switch between two different worlds. It's like a dream world and I guess kind of a reality world. It's a story about Gianna, who goes into a dream world to rescue her sister Maria. Now, let's talk about Maria for a second. Maria is always in need of help, I think. The first Gianna Sister game actually can be found for the Commodore 64 back in 1987, before I was born. So, fun fact, Gianna was spelled with two N's actually, but when the game cover got printed, it was only printed with one N, and they didn't want to like reprint the covers or the boxes, so they just kept it as that. So Gianna is with one N now. Anyways, a second game was made for the Nintendo DS, and that would have been their last if it wasn't for fans that crowdfunded via Kickstarter for this third installment. I love that when there's such a fan base for a game or a series that in order for a company to continue making another game and they can't, you know, get the funding for it, and they turn to the fans, that the fans come together and, you know, donate that money to make it happen. And that's what happened with this game, which I love when that happens. Similar to the DS game, you switch between like a cute and punk version of Gianna in order to traverse the dreamland. Each like the cute and the punk version have its own powers. So this is kind of a nice departure in concept from your normal platformer. Like you can kind of switch between two different styles or characters. I haven't gotten far in it because I actually suck at playing platformers. I can never time my jumps at the right time. I jump too soon, I jump too late, not high enough. Anyways, I recommend this for fans of platformers though. It's pretty interesting and fun, and like I said, it's a different concept than your normal just straightforward platformer. You can have kind of two different worlds, and like the scenery changes depending on which character or which side of the character you're playing, as the cute or the punk side. So it's really cool. The next game I have here is Mega Man 11. This is the latest game in the Mega Man series. And it stays pretty true to the original gameplay and style, like the original kind of Mega Man games back in like Nintendo, Super Nintendo. You have to beat like 8 new robot bosses, and obviously like you get their gear when you defeat them. I honestly haven't played a Mega Man game since Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo. It's been a really long time, but this is so similar that it was nostalgic. And I admit I am not very good at these platformer games, like I said about Gianna. Like when I was playing this, I kind of remembered how much harder Mega Man games are than a normal platformer, because you have to kind of be shooting and scaling walls, and it's just so hard for me to coordinate all that. I think you guys get a pretty good picture of me as a gamer. I'm not very good at games, but I love them, so who cares, right? So the next game I have here is Moving Out. This game is such a fun game. It's kind of a similar gameplay to Overcooked, if you guys have played that, where you are frantically trying to accomplish a task while the clock ticks away. Like in this game, you play as movers for a moving company. Your goal is to fill the moving truck with all the items that are on your list of things to move as fast as you can. I love playing as this little robot guy. He's got a toaster for a head, and like he randomly has toast popping out of his head, and it's so cute. It has this like silly game mechanic where you can break the windows of the house to throw furniture out for like a faster move. So it's just like weird things like that. Like you can also move items that are just in the house that aren't on your list. Like one time I just put like these lawn flamingos in the truck, and some of it actually gives you extra points if it's just like some secret item that you could move and put it in your truck. So it's kind of fun to find all those little things, and I think this would be a great co-op game, although I personally haven't tried it, of course. Just like Overcooked, it's something very fun that you can play with other people. And the next game I have here is Katamari Reroll. So Reroll is a remake of the original, like the first Katamari game. And if you aren't familiar with these games, you play as this little prince who rolls a ball around, collecting as many things as you can, and it just automatically kind of sticks to the ball, so you just like roll over it and it just sticks. And then there's like a certain size that you have to make your ball in order to like reach the goal to continue to the next level. And this is one of those games you can just play for fun, and it also has a multiplayer mode, so you can also play with someone. I personally have never done that before, so I'm not sure how it goes, but these games are really fun, and I've collected almost all of the games in this series except for one, I think, and I will get it. So the next game on my collection is I say Lumens, but maybe it's Lumens. So this is Lumens Remastered. Lumens is like a puzzle game where you have to make blocks out of the same color. So you have like a two color kind of block, and they're in different patterns. They're all not the same, and you can like kind of rotate them. So you like match them up to make a 4 square box of the same color. And then once you have that, then they disappear from your playing field. However, you can continue adding to the block in order to erase more pieces at once. So this game is played more like horizontal than vertically, like Tetris or Dr. Mario. So like there's a scan line that goes from left to right, and once the scan line hits the boxes that you've been creating, they'll disappear. And I like really I suck at Tetris, but I can play this game for hours and not lose. You can also play this with a friend, and every time you make a block disappear, your opponent's playing field gets smaller, so it makes it harder to like make blocks and like get them to disappear to have more room. And I actually have played this in multiplayer mode before with Oni, and I always win. These games are so fun. I also have collected almost all of these except for one, I think the PS Vita version, which I will get because I love these games. The first time I played was on the PSP. I think that's the very first one that ever came out, and ever since then I was hooked. And I bought like every single version I could find. So I was super happy to see that they had a Switch game version of this. The next game here is Valhalla Cyberpunk Bartender Action. So this is kind of like a sim type visual novel-esque game. You play as a bartender at kind of a seedy bar, and your job is to listen to people's stories, basically talk, and make them cocktails. It's kind of a cool concept. It's a little different. Like, they give you the recipe for the drinks every time, which is great because I have horrible memory, and I don't always play a game through in one like period of time. So if I put this game down for like 3 weeks and go back to it, I would have forgotten the recipe. And the story progresses or like changes depending on the type of drink you decide to like make for the customer, because you can kind of choose what drink to make them. Like, they give you a few options. So I think it's an interesting concept, and I love that you can play as a bartender. But I would say if you don't like visual novel kind of games or a lot of dialogue in a game, that this might not be good for you. But if it is, I would definitely give it a try. The next game I have here is the Super Mario 3D All-Stars. So this was made for the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers, and it includes Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. And I played a little bit of Mario 64 when it was first released, but at that time, when platformers were kind of becoming more 3D, I had a hard time getting into them. I mean, first of all, platformers were hard for me to begin with, but now you have to jump in different directions. Like, oh my god, I can't even jump in one direction correctly. So I didn't get into these games much, and I also didn't own it back then. And I don't actually know much about Mario Sunshine. Like, that one kind of just flew past me, and I think that was for the GameCube. So I've never played that one, but Super Mario Galaxy I did play and I love it. It's so cool and I love the theme in it. And I'm also curious to see how the port of the Switch version is. Like, I remember on the Wii, like, you could use your Wii remote and sensor to kind of like gather the stars. So I'm excited to like give these all a try and see how they play on the Switch. Obviously, I mean, I won't know for the Sunshine one, but the other two, it'll be interesting, and maybe I'll actually kind of play through and beat Mario 64. I don't know. We'll see how well I do. But that's that one. Last but not least, I kind of saved this one for the end because I really like it, so I'm excited to share it with you guys. So this game is This War of Mine. I absolutely love this game. Like, I would say this is one of my favorite Switch games that I own. I personally love war stories, like real historical war stuff and like war movies, but I've never really played war video games before because almost all of them are like first person shooter, strategy, or sim type games, which I don't really play those types of games. So like, if you know any, like, please let me know if you have like war type of games that aren't any of those types of genres because I really want to know. I love the war concept. So this is unique in that you aren't playing as a soldier or like a fighter in war, but you're playing as like the civilians that are trying to survive during the wartime and like its effect on civilian life. It's so different, and you kind of play as a group of people who live in a house, and your goal is basically to survive the war. The game ends when the war is over, and this can happen at any random time. Like, I've played this game many times, all in one day, and the game is really short, but it is replayable because they have different scenarios. But I had to play this game so many times because I kept dying, and for some reason, every single time I had to restart a game and play it, the war would last like the maximum number of days for me. It was like, what the hell? Like, I read online, like, for some people, it would end in like, 20 days or 30 days. And I can't remember what the maximum number of days are, but it was always that for me. Like, I would get 2 days before the max number of days and I would die. And it would just be like, what? Like, why do I always have the maximum number of days? I just didn't understand. But like, I finally, beat it, and it was so cool. Like, it's such a interesting game. Like, each night you send someone out to gather supplies while the rest of the people in the house like have to guard it. So you play as the character that goes out and finds stuff, and sometimes you have to like fight for your life or like make a decision to steal from people who are also trying to survive. And each choice that you make kind of affects your character in the game. So like, sometimes it could result in not being able to use or play that character for a certain amount of time. Maybe they got injured, or maybe like stealing from someone, like an elderly couple, kind of messes with their psyche, so they get depressed and like they don't want to do anything. They don't want to go out and like, you know, steal again. So it's a great game, and I highly recommend it if that sounds like something you're interested in, because it is such a cool concept, and I've never really played a game like that. So I really like this game, and I hope that you guys give it a try if it's something that sounds interesting to you. So yeah, that's all the games I have, and I hope that there was at least one new game that you are interested in playing or picking up. And please let me know like what you have in your collection or what games you think I should play, because I'm always looking for new games, obviously. Thanks again so much for watching this, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!